All right. Welcome to Next Level Endurance Conquer the Course 70.3 Chatty. This is our first one of these for this year. We're very excited. We have, I would say, two incredible facilitators, and then you're stuck with me for one of them. So two great speakers and a mediocre guy that's stuck on the bike. So to get started, let me introduce everybody to our speakers and facilitators. We have the legendary Coach Pono. He is not just good at IT, but he's great at run coaching, triathlon coaching. He's been in world champs. He has done it all. So we're very lucky to have Pono in here to break down the morning, everything about the morning you need to know. And then I'll be breaking down the bike into T2, and hopefully I can keep rubber side down and Chatty this year, not like as unfortunate and didn't keep it down in Spain. And then we also have the legendary Coach Amanda Allman, who has been to enough Bostons and Konas and whatever else we can dream of and think of. She has been there. She has done that. So we're in great hands when it comes to hearing about the run course and any tips and tricks she has for us there. So with no further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Pono and let him get rolling with the swim portion. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, back step. I got three things for everybody on the call to do first. I need you to do three things. First, I need you to join Next Level Endurance on your Ironman account. You can do this through their website. It's pretty easy. I can drop it in the chat later on, a little video I made to do that. But that will put you on the team. And so on the tracker, you will see it. And that needs to be done like yesterday. So that you have to have so many week clearance for it to show up. So go ahead and do that like stat. The second thing is, if you haven't already, make sure you join the 70.3 WhatsApp thread. That's where we'll be posting everything the weekend and everything we're doing leading up to the weekend, the group photo, all those little things, the run bike the day before the race, where the tent's at, all the little nuggets you want to know for the race. So make sure you're in the WhatsApp created there. I've added most of you there. If you're not in it, text me and I'll assist you in getting there. And now, without further ado, let me turn it over to the legendary Pono.
Thanks, Chris. All right. So as Chris mentioned, I'll be covering race morning, the swim, and into T1. So kind of the theme you'll hear me talk about during my segment of this is just, give yourself plenty of time, right? Races can be stressful. There's lots of people. It's dark in the morning. So just, wake up early and make sure that you're giving yourself enough time. Race morning, there's lots of gear checklists that floats around the web. There's one in your Ironman packet. If you don't have one, reach out to, Chris, Amanda, or myself. Make sure that you're bringing everything to transition that morning. Things like your swim, your racing chip, your swim cap, goggles, wetsuit, swim skin, your race bib that you're wearing on the run, and bike run shoes, helmets, all those things, right? Make sure that you have everything with you that morning so you don't have to backtrack to your lodging. Transition opens 4:30 a.m. and it'll close at 6:15 a.m. The reason it closes so early is so that it pushes people to catch the shuttles to the swim start, which I'll cover in a next slide. A big thing in the morning, and even when you're racking your bike. Oh, sorry. If you can go to the next back slide, Chris. Just familiarize yourself with the swim in, bike out, and your bike rack location. As you know, you can be a little disoriented when you're coming through transition. After that swim, and then shuttles to the swim start, because it is a point-to-point swim, will start at 4:30 a.m. and end at 6:45 a.m. It takes about 15-ish minutes from transition to the swim start, so account that in your morning timing. There'll be long lines, but they move pretty quickly, so just keep your heart rate low, don't stress out. Next slide, Chris. Swim course overview. When you arrive at the swim start, morning clothes bag, they'll give you kind of a white bag when you check in. Things that you will want after the race. So hotel key or car keys. That's usually pretty close to where the buses drop you off. So make sure that you put like dry clothes, whatever you want in that bag, and leave it there. Porta potties, there's lots of porta potties at the swim start. So I would say, like, don't wait in the first one that you see. There are ones that are closer to the swim start, but lines can be long. So make sure that you, again, account for needing to use the bathroom or porta potties as you needed. The swim is self-seated. So they have start corrals that are kind of those metal fence gates. And so if you're a faster swimmer or want to start at the front of the race, make sure you give yourself ample enough time to make your way to the swim start. It gets pretty crowded and jam-packed in that area because you're kind of confined to where those steel barriers are. So just make sure that you're seating yourself where you think you'll end up at the end of the swim. Age group starts at 7:05. So again, work yourself backwards in how much time you actually need. Next slide. So really, course overview. Again, I mentioned point to point. This is a data file from when I did it in 2024. There are 3 bridges. You can kind of see I drew one in purple. That is the kind of bluish color bridge. And a good tip is to basically kind of use that as your sighting location. You're going to be swimming with the current. So, if you're able to, I always recommend, bilateral breathing so you can kind of see where you're gauging on either side. You have a good thing that you're in between that McLean Island as kind of a touch point of making sure you're swimming on course, but there will be buoys along the way. The buoys, you can swim on either side of them. Typically, the current will be faster towards the center of the river, but then oftentimes that's where a lot more people swim as well. So you just kind of got to gauge while you're swimming in the race. But again, biggest tip is using those bridges as sighting mechanisms. And again, there are 3 of them. Next slide. And transition. There'll be volunteers there are stairs at the end of your swim. So the volunteers will usually help you up the stairs just because, again, you're lateral for 30+ minutes. So they'll help you up the stairs, and pretty close to where at that location, there'll be wetsuit peelers. If it is wetsuit legal, definitely recommend getting those people to help you. I always do it because it is quicker. You'll just have to carry your wetsuit. And then kind of last thing is there is a pretty steep ramp up to where it takes your bridges, take you up to your bikes. So definitely be careful when you're going up that. I've seen several people slip a little bit, but there is some traction on that. So I wouldn't worry too much. And then you head into transition and put on your helmet, get all your bike stuff ready, and get out on the bike. And that's where I pass it over to Chris to kind of cover over the bike.
Thanks, Pono. So for the bike, you have a 1-loop course. Be prepared to fly. Be prepared to be able to get an arrow and roll for most of this course. They're going to have 3 aid stations for you. As you can see on the map, you're going to have your first one around mile 15. And then as you come back down, you will have your next one right here around mile 30. So don't think this is going to be exact. With Ironman, it could be a little bit before, a little bit after, but just know somewhere in that ballpark, you're going to hit those aid stations. And then when you come back through for that last final push, you'll have aid station around mile 45 right in here. One thing to note with aid stations, especially on the bike, if you're not getting fuel, get towards the middle line. That's going to keep you from a possibility of wrecking somebody. People do dumb things. If this is your first race, people like to do dumb things in transition or at these fuel hydration stops. So if you see it getting crowded, I would scoot out as far as you can to the double yellow line. Try not to cross it unless you have to for safety, because crossing the double yellow line can get you a penalty if there's a ref around. So be cautious of that. But like I said, I'm going to carry all my fuel. This is something you should be already practicing, is you have all your fuel on your bike and you've been doing this on your long ride. So if you can have all your fuel on your bike and you have, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it's going to take you worth of hydration, you really shouldn't have to stop unless you've dropped a bottle or something like that. So pay attention to the hydration stops, but I wouldn't use them for everything. For me, I will have my solids and my gels on my bike or in my bike jersey, and all the bottles on my bike, one in the between the arms and two in the rear. So that is the hydration stops. The next portion of this is, I want you to realize this course should not scare you. Unless you haven't been riding a whole lot on hills and you're not very confident. If you've ridden with me in Louisville, you have nothing to worry about if you've been out in JMF. There are no JMF climbs. There are no massive climbs that you're going to be like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? It's mainly rolling hills. And I'll show you my data file here in a second. But another thing to note is it's generally you have a headwind. Everybody has told me that every year there's a headwind going out. And then when you turn right past mile marker 25 right here onto Andrews Lane, you'll have a climb right there, and you'll have some crosswind. And then when you make this next turn all the way home, you have a tailwind. Last year, there's really no wind, really didn't factor. Speeds pretty much stayed the same for the whole course. So here's kind of like the layout you can see from my data file. It's kind of seems like you're gradually going up, and then you make that turn right here at 25, 26 on Andrews Lane. You have that one little climb that I was talking about, and then you're negatively going down the rest of the day. So as you're climbing, here's a couple of thoughts to keep in your head. I say this at Louisville or anytime we're doing hills. This is a fast course. As you can see from my overall time, I did it in 2:12. I hate showing my data, hate showing my numbers, but so taking one for the team here. I did it in 2 hours, 12 minutes, which would be roughly on my computer said it was 25.7 miles an hour, and the course was 0.7 long. My watch clocked it a little long as well. I tell you all this to help comfort you and say this course, you can, if you hold your cadence, you hold your watts that your coaches have talked to you, you're staying in zone 3, high zone 2 if you can't be in zone 3. You're going to be just fine. Keep your cadence up on these hills, use the momentum going down, and that will lead you right into the next climb. So that's the mindset you should have. Be confident in what you're doing. If you've done 70.3 Louisville, another easy way to compare, this bike course is much easier than 70.3 Louisville. As you come off the bike, you're going to come back in on bike in, the same place you went out on the bike. You'll remember where your rack is, rack your bike, throw your stuff on. And then Pono, Amanda, is this the run exit? Is that right?
Yeah, there's usually like a smaller chute, like you go towards that gear bags and then you kind of turn back. But yeah, where you had that was pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I think they made us run behind the porta potties. I'm not sure if that's still the case, but the last time I did chat, they had like a string of porta potties and you had to run behind it to get out. So like you just go around the very back to get out.
Yes.
And the porta potties do not face that way. So just know you need to like stop in transition if you want to use those porta potties.
Yeah.
Yes. So just pay attention to when you are in transition. Pay attention when you're racking things race morning, where's my run out, and look at those things where you can have a smooth transition out of there. And at this point, Amanda, why don't you bring us home talking through the run?
Yeah. So another tip that I have for everyone is just when you go rack your bike the day before, take a picture of from where you're standing at your bike of how you're going to get to bike in and out. And then go to the end of bike in and out and take a picture of how you're going to run so that night you can go back to your room or wherever you're staying and you can kind of look at bike in and out on your phone. You can visualize it because when you're in chaos, you don't always remember this is my number, this is what rack I was, but try and have it so you can kind of repeat it in your head so you don't get lost in transition. And same with run out. look at from your bike, okay, which way am I going to go to run out? What are some landmarks? What's the fastest way to get there? So that on race day, when heart rate's higher and you've been working really hard, you don't have to think about it.
Absolutely.
All right, so run course overview. Aid stations are about 1.5 miles, but they're not exactly even. Like if you look on there, there's some that are kind of close together on the out and back, and then there's a little ways between, and that's partially because that's on a boardwalk down by the river. So you just need to know. So when you run out of T2, you're actually going to take a left-hand turn and then curve around on the sidewalk and go down by the river. And you'll run, unless there's been a lot of rain and you have a flooded river, in which case they'll move it up a little bit. But you'll run down along the river and then you'll run back up and you'll get on to what feels like a non-shaded gradual incline up towards the cut down to the path along the river, and that's because it is. So you're going to go up this gradual incline. This is the Strava map that's online. You'll go out, see where the green dot is around the river. You'll go up, and you're basically running along the main road on the side. The shoulder's very wide. There's a lot of room there, not a lot of shade. And you'll run up. There'll be some aid stations along there, and then there will be plenty of volunteers directing you to turn left and go down towards the bike path. When you get down to the bike path, you'll take a right and you'll actually go out the bike path a little bit, hit an aid station, loop around, and come back. And just be aware that section can get very congested on your second loop or your first loop into your second loop. But later in the day, as more people are out there. And I just remind people, be vocal as you're out there. You don't have to be mean about it, but you can definitely tell people, on your left, get over. I've yelled at people nicely, yelled at people before for, running too wide and kind of having a conversation, reminding them that maybe some faster runners were coming through, or could you please move over? And there are 2 aid stations in that area pretty quickly that you can grab some aid and support. So then you'll head along the river, and that area is more shaded. You're going to get more shade in there. You'll have some mixed modalities between bike path and then boardwalk, I believe, is in there as well. And so you'll run through there. And then as you start to head back towards town and the bridge you're going to cross, that's where you want to be a little more careful, because you're going to start to turn and weave right before that, Chris, like right where they're really close together there. Yeah, right there. And that's the section that I think is one of the more technical, because you kind of turn around a tennis court and you weave again and you weave around, and it's easy if there's a couple of people to maybe step off the curb. So just be aware of that. And then you're going to cross a little street, and then you go up the steepest hill all day long, up this little jaunt. There's tons of people there cheering you on. I'm not racing. At this point, I'm not racing this race, so I will be cheering you on probably in that location. Get yourself up that hill, and then it's a downhill, and you're going to it's a steep downhill, and you'll take a quick right-hand turn at the bottom onto the bridge. You'll run across the bridge. And when you get across the bridge, you're going to just go up a teeny bit up Barton. If you're doing the full later this year, you'll go all the way up Barton. You lucky person you, but you're not going to go all the way up Barton. You just do a little turnaround at the top. You'll run back down. And actually, Chris, if you go to the next slide. There we go. I took the technical sections and really broke them down for you. So on the right-hand side of the screen here, you're going to go over the bridge, up Barton a little bit, make a turn at the top, come back down. You'll go under the bridge you just ran under. And normally when the footbridge is intact, you will just continue on, and then you'll turn and go over the footbridge. But you're not going to do that this year. It's still under construction. So you're going to make a turn and run back up just this tiny incline to get back on the bridge, run over the bridge, take a left, and then loop around to get back on the course for loop number 2. So there's plenty of aid stations along the course. Chat is notorious for having good supported aid stations. They've got ice, they've got plenty of stuff. And then if you look on the left-hand side there, that's just that little bit. You're going to cut down by the river, go out the river walk, and then turn around. So you're running on a bike path that's relatively narrow, which is what I think is probably the most congested part of the course. It's also where you can see your teammates potentially and try and run them down. I love cheering for my teammates and letting them know that I'm coming for them at that point in time. So if I have the pleasure of seeing them. Let's see, one more through there, Chris. And then end of the race, the finish line, you'll just run back down. It's very clear there'll be people cheering for you there too. It'll have, instead of, to your second lap, you'll just go straight to the finish. It's basically downhill to the finish. It's a really nice downhill to the finish, actually. You'll run in, our tent will be there. We'll all be cheering for you. You should celebrate at the finish. You should eat something at the finish as well. There's food there. You can get out of that area pretty quickly. We'll have the tent. We can help you out if you need it. And then if you look in transition, that will be where you'd enter transition, is also where you can get your gear bags. So they will have your morning clothes bag there for you. And then of course, because this is a half, your stuff will be all next to your bike. So you can gather up all your stuff and your bike when you get your gear bag. And you just need to show them your little wrist bracelet to get that. Or if somebody else is going to check out your bag for you, they have those tickets, bike checkout and geared bag checkout tickets in your packet that you can show. Overall, though, I love the Chat half course. I actually love all of Chat, full and half. But the run course, the main thing is that you stay cool. It can get a little humid down by the water, but tips for that: if it's warmer than you're used to, or if you start to get hot, dump ice water on you, dump ice down the jersey. If you can handle that, hold some ice in your hands, because that coldness can help cool the rest of your body faster. And it's a great, again, you have the opportunity to kind of see a lot of people out there, which is fun. And there's the opportunity for spectators to see you going over the bridge, to see you at the top of the hill. So there's a lot of opportunities right there for them to see you twice and kind of cheer you into the finish.
Exactly. On that river path, it's a little narrow that Amanda was talking about, and that's when you'll be going both ways. Isn't that right?
Yes. Yeah. Just on that little section. So it's not very long that you're going both ways, but there is 2 directional traffic. And it is a pro race, I believe.
Yes.
So you will have, just keep your head on a swivel, be mindful that you could have some fast people charging through on their second lap, but on your first, or however that happens to fall. And like I said, don't be afraid. If you're the one charging through, just be kind, but give people a heads up. And, we're all in a race. Sometimes we forget what we're doing. You're depleted, you're tired, it's hot, or you're just racing, you forgot. So just make sure you give people, I always just tell people, I'm on your left, get over, coming through, there's people coming through. Or if I know there's some people coming behind me, up quick. I've seen some pros that are going to be coming. I'll oftentimes warn people of that, because I've seen people just get scared before, they don't realize, and then some pro comes running by them at a 5:53 pace, and they're jump because they're scared. So just be aware of that. Exactly.
This brings us to the portion to answer any questions y'all have. So if you just want to unmute and ask, and we're here to answer and hopefully explain anything that you may be thinking about at this point.
I've got questions.
We've got answers. Right?
All right. How far is the transition from the water to T1?
Not very far.
These are shorter transitions. I mean, Pono,
have you done Louisville before?
This is his first race.
It's way shorter than Louisville.
You run
I
up the
don't.
bank.
Yeah, you get up the bank, you run up a little bit. I mean, it's not that long. It's not even like a quarter of a mile.
Yeah, I'd say less than a quarter mile, but yeah, I think the main thing for that specific transition after the swim is just that ramp. That will spike your heart rate probably going up that. So
Yes.
It's all uphill.
Yeah.
The ramp out of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you get on like the dock, and then you run on the dock maybe for like 15 seconds. There's the wetsuit peelers right at the base of the ramp, and then you go up that ramp, which will take you to the level where the bikes are.
Gotcha. Okay. My next question is about congestion on the bike course. So I will be a slow swimmer, but I'm a little bit faster on the bike. And so I guess my question is, I know it's like no drafting, but my expectation is that the course will be a bit crowded when I'm on the course. So like, should I be concerned about that? Like what strategy should I have like on the bike? Like just stay to the left as you're passing people, or like can you draft until it's time to pass them and then go around them? Like what should that strategy be?
The rules say that you have to, as soon as you enter the draft zone, you have to actively be trying to pass them. I think you have like 45 seconds maybe to pass them and make the pass, and then they are not supposed to like speed up. Once you've hit wheel, like come in contact even with them, they're supposed to actually let you pass. Not everybody does that, so just be aware. We can only control what we do, not what everybody else does. But the course is pretty, like, you've got space where you can get around, I think, on this course. And because it's not out and back on the same road, you don't have to work, for most of it anyway, you don't really have to worry about like traffic coming both ways on bike or people crossing the line coming back at you. I do think this course lends itself to spreading out pretty well. That being said, it does, like, I think it's sold out now, so there will be quite a few people there. But and the other thing, Chris, did you mention the railroad tracks?
I did not.
So the other thing you just want to be careful of is within like the first 5 miles out of town, right? 5 miles, there are a couple sets, 2 sets, 1 set.
I think it was one. I think last year, I don't remember the railroad tracks, because we had this debate at this conversation last year, and it was the fool that hits the railroad track, the old fool that hit the railroad tracks.
But the half would too, I think, to get out on the course.
I think we
did last year.
We hit that first 1 set, I think, right? There's 1 set.
Yes.
There's one set back out.
There's 1 set of railroad tracks, and but there will be tons of volunteers there that will be telling you to slow down. And they'll tell you in plenty of time, slow down there. I've lost a bottle every year. Thankfully, when you have a nice ponytail, some male volunteer catches my bottle and runs it back to me, which is lovely. But you don't want to do that. There's tons of bottles around. People lose them all the time. And they like put a carpet over it, so you can't, like on your shakeout run, you can go over the tracks and see and choose your line. Once the carpet is over, I think it's worse, like, because you can't choose your line and you don't know what's there. So just be careful in that section. Other than that, there's a lot of room. And I would just say, again, like on the run, be vocal. Tell people, I'm passing on your left. Like, I am constantly chattering at people if I feel like they're being unsafe. And again, I try not to be mean about it, but just talk to people and let them know, like, I'm passing on your left, I'm coming around, but you should be okay to get through congestion.
Yeah.
It's okay to be loud, just not.
Don't be a jerk.
Not rude.
Yeah. One thing to help with your bottles when you go over those tracks, if Amanda, I thought she was going there with the ponytail. I use the ponytail ties and wrap it around the bottle, like the portion that pours out the liquid, and then put the other half of it around the cage. And so that way it's not going to come out until I need that bottle. And then I and then I pour the bottle. You know, for me, I have the between the arms bottle that I just refill as I ride. So then I rack it back.
Yep.
That's what I do to keep from ever losing a bottle. Is I use women's hair ponytail ties, and it works tremendously.
I need all mine, so you know I don't use them.
I got a bag of 150 I can share from
Amazing.
middle school girls basketball. All right.
Yeah.
What other questions we got?
So my last question, so like my wife is coming, I think my parents may come down. Are there good places? Like, is it going to be easy for them to know where to go to like to watch?
The run
Yeah.
is the best to spectate. You really, and then you can, the swim, when you come out of the water, that area where Pono's talking about running up the ramp, you will have a lot of people lined up in there seeing you come out of the water into transition. They're really not going to see you on the bike because it's in, you know, a one big loop. And then,
Yeah.
Amanda, how much did it change because of the way they changed the footbridge? You can stand up there in that triangle, see people walk up that little alley to where the downhill you come up the big steep climb, you come downhill, take that right where you go over the long bridge.
I mean, you'll be able to see people going out and coming back there. So, and they'll have it all closed off to traffic. So you'll be, that's like the best place in my opinion. Once you see them coming out of transition, cheer them on there to go up on that bridge and watch people go out, watch them come back. And then you can get to the finish line there. Like even if you were a very slow walker or didn't want to walk very far, that's all within like 0.25 miles of transition that they could be there. So, and what I will do is I will be on the WhatsApp group as well. My plan is to just spectate and not race. But
But
I'm
she's
happy.
being antsy right now.
I'm very antsy right now. So, but I am happy to put my number on there too if you need to connect me to like wives or relatives or whoever needs help like finding out where to go or using the app to track you to know like when is he coming through. I have no idea. There will be several of us there who can help out with that as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Long sleeve or short sleeve wetsuit? What's the
Always long sleeve in my opinion. It's more buoyant. As long as you don't have any issues with like shoulder restriction, I would say if it's wetsuit legal, I would always go long sleeve because you're just going to get more help with the long sleeve. And hopefully you'll have a year where you always get a little current in chat downriver, but maybe you'll get a lucky year where it's a little bit better.
Yep, I agree.
With it being sold out in terms of, sorry.
Unless you need shoulder clearance, you go with sleeves. Go ahead, Kay. Sorry.
In terms of the swim, with it being sold out, how crowded does it get? Because I did Louisville and Michigan. Louisville, I felt like, well, there weren't nearly as many people, but we were more spread out because it was the river swim.
Yep.
And so I didn't feel like I got pummeled. A little bit different in Michigan. I felt like, especially at the start and around all of the buoys, like I was just surrounded by people where I didn't have an out.
Yeah.
You'll be good on the swim. Sorry, Pono, that's your specialty. But like you've got a massive spot and you don't have to swim next to a buoy. You just kind of start swimming. So you can, if you want to get away from people, you can swim a little bit to one way or the other. But it's kind of reminds me of Louisville where you've got the river, like, and you can just kind of go that way. I haven't raced chat in a couple of years, but I did it on one of the really crowded years and I still didn't think the swim was super congested.
Okay.
Pono, tell me this. I haven't done this. I've done the relay and I've done when the swim got canceled. So that canal, you have the island right there in the middle, but it's still pretty wide open, right? Like it's not
yeah.
where it's congested down that canal. You have plenty of space, isn't that right?
Yes, yeah, you have plenty of space. It reminded, when I did Louisville, it reminded me of Chatty.
Okay.
So the swims, like in terms of space, and you're all going in one direction, right? So it makes that a little bit easier. You know, like zero turns except towards at the very last turn buoy to head back in. So
I'd say probably twice the space in Chattanooga than there was Louisville, I think, personally.
Yeah, it's a large space.
Yeah. You don't have Towhead Island that you're working with, that canal like in Louisville.
Okay. And then can you guys describe one more time? Someone's explained it to me before, but I forgot. In terms of like the wetsuit strippers, what are we supposed to do and how do we do that?
Yeah, Pono, take that one.
Yeah, so you have to unzip the top of your wetsuit on your back, right? And basically, as best as you can, roll it down basically take your arms out of your wetsuit, roll it down as much as you can, like even to your waist or below your waist. And what the wetsuit strippers will tell you is lie on your back, put your legs up, and they'll grab your wetsuit either by your hips or by the arms because you had taken the arm sleeves off, and they'll just rip it off your legs. So zip your wetsuit down, take your arms out, try and pull it down as far as you can while running, basically to your waist.
And if you can't get it off your arms, I've stood there before and had them take it off my arms, and then I just hit the ground real quick and they take it off the rest.
Yeah.
Like, if you're like, I'm stuck, just start yelling, I'm stuck, I can't get out, and they'll help you out. Like, they're really great. The wetsuit strippers are the real MVPs of the whole ordeal.
They're there to assist and make it easy on you.
Okay.
What other questions we got, team?
I've got 2 wetsuit questions.
Sorry,
Where do
you're out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Where do you put your wetsuit? Like once you get to transition, do you have to put it in a bag, or do you just throw it with your other stuff?
Yep,
Correct.
under your bike.
Under that the metal rack. So
Okay.
in the morning, basically when you're setting up, everything should fit kind of in the confines of your kind of space by your bike. And
Yeah.
so basically just toss it kind of underneath your bike, and then you take your bike off and go.
Okay, makes sense. And then my next question is, I know wetsuit legal or not wetsuit legal. If it's not wetsuit legal, if we're not like competing for anything, like we're not going to get a world spot, and we know that, is there any harm in wearing the wetsuit anyway?
It's all about comfort. What are you comfortable with in helping you get from the start of the swim to the end of the swim? And if that means wearing a wetsuit, then go for it, right?
Yeah.
The only thing is obviously you'll start at the back of the race
Yes.
if you wear a wetsuit.
So you do have to, if you wear a wetsuit, you have to start at the very end, which I think is a disadvantage. Because, and then the other thing you want to consider is just that you're not going to get too hot. Because that is now, like, if it's like a degree over wetsuit legal, probably not a big deal. But if it's a couple degrees, you want to think about, like, is this worth the amount of heat that I'm going to be trapped in for that long?
That makes sense.
Hey, one thing to think about, I know how you feel about the swim, Brad. So, like, I would follow what they're saying. Also, when you first get in the water, because you haven't wore your wetsuit much, I would pull the sleeves, pull the collar out, and let water fill in it. It'll help you from feeling suffocated and help you kind of relax. Just take a breath, let some water get in it. It's going to flow right out, but it's going to help you feel a little connected and probably calm any anxiety you may have on the day as well.
I'm going to swim in it a few times before race day for sure.
Good.
And one other tip, because I see it a lot, is like a lot of your wetsuits will have a place where you can put your name and your phone number. I recommend doing it because I think just inadvertently people will grab the wetsuit that's closest to their bike when they're going home. So there could be a chance that you grab the wrong one or someone else grabs the wrong one. So I would just label them, because we all know wetsuits aren't very cheap, right? So
Or distinguishable, like they all kind of look
Yeah.
What other questions we got out there?
Yeah, I got one. When you're getting on the shuttle in the morning to go to the start of the swim, what do you have with you? Like at that point, like what do you have on? What are you taking water with you? Are you taking food with you? Are you taking what are you taking to, because you're leaving all the rest of your stuff behind. So like what do you got on? What are you doing?
So you'll have all your stuff for a swim. So your swim cap, goggles, make sure you have your chip as always. you have your wetsuit. I would recommend not putting on your wetsuit until you're at like the swim start, because again, talk about overheating. And I typically have a gel, I have a water bottle just so I can continue hydrating, and I take a gel right before I jump into the water too. Another thing I see a lot of people do it is they bring like throwaway flip-flops.
Yeah.
There is like some areas at the swim start that might be gravel, and then some people like to wear them in the porta potties. So that's a preference thing too, but those are things that I normally bring. And then of course, if you want to bring other things, you'll have your morning bag that you can drop at the swim start too.
If you use any like anti-chafe,
Yes.
anything, you'll want that. Some people have sunscreen. If you wear a heart rate monitor in the swim, your heart rate monitor. I like to overpack. I put some extra snacks in there. Like that's like, I just like to have a little bit extra. I don't always, I've left my phone in transition before if I have like a transition bag there or something, and I rather than put it in my morning clothes bag, or I just leave it with Tom or whoever's there or at the tent, versus having it in my morning clothes bag. But I know a lot of people have that with them and then get rid of it.
Just Josh, some people have their family go with them to swim start. And so they're able to, if they pack more stuff, they're able to hand that bag to them there instead of relying on morning clothes bag.
Yeah.
So some of it will be thinking through that. Are you going to have somebody go to the swim start? It gets congested. So like there'll be a little area when you get off the bus to kind of meet and see your family if they choose to go there. But then once you start walking into the corrals for the swim, it's hard to get anybody back there. From a spectator point of view, you can't get back there. One other thing that I have started packing recently is I pack some kind of baby wipes or dude wipes, and I'm just going to leave that there. But I have been packing those. So what we've got about 2 or 3 minutes here. So what other questions might y'all have?
One other thing, sorry to add in, is I don't think spectators, I think only athletes are allowed to get on the shuttle.
Correct.
So keep that in mind. And I was going to say something else, but now I forget. So
where do you put your chip during the swim?
On your ankle.
It's on your ankle.
Okay. Yeah, I just I coach cross country, so we zip tie chips on shoes, and I'm like, I don't know how the chips work on this.
It's like a little Velcro strap that will will go around your ankle.
Gotcha. Great.
Right there.
Awesome.
Sorry.
Left side too.
At least I didn't show you my lack of toenails. Okay, sorry.
What I wanted to say was that the transition at the end of the race doesn't open till 2 p.m. So just keep that in mind in terms of like what you leave in transition versus maybe what you put in your morning clothes bag. So if like you anticipate maybe finishing well before 2 p.m., you might want to consider putting room key, other keys in your morning clothes bag so you can access that as soon as you finish.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. For sure. All right. Anybody else? Perfect. Well, look, I look forward to seeing y'all in Chattanooga here in a few weeks. I will publish and put in the group chat on WhatsApp the schedule for the weekend for anything you want to come hang out. We will have like a pizza party at the Airbnb. Coach Sean and myself and one other athlete will be staying at an Airbnb about 1.5 miles from the transition and finish, right on the other side of the bridge. So we'd love to have y'all come over, eat pizza, bring your family. Time of socializing on Friday. Saturday morning, we'll do our shakeout run and ride. And then if you want, a bunch of us will go to First Watch or something for breakfast, but you may be on your own trying to get a table of 4 because it's crazy down there with so many people in town. Yeah. So be paying attention to that. I know it will be a fun weekend. And then after the race, like Kono had in the slides, or Amanda did, come back to the tent. Let's cheer each other on because, man, that's the magical thing of the entire weekend. We finish, we go to the tent, we cheer on our teammates, whether we know them or not. It makes the day so much better. So make plans to do that as well. So other than that, I'm going to end our going into a coaches meeting. So we're going to have a coaches meeting. So I'm going to have y'all slide off, and I'm going to end recording, and I will see y'all in Chattanooga here in a couple weeks.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Bono. That was helpful.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you all.